They don't teach you money, so I had to learn by myself.
What made you want to go into this industry?
I have one specific dream. I wanted to take my family out of poverty. So finance is the best industry.
I want to go to your course and I want to earn $1 million by the end of the year. How much should I start off with?
I wouldn't think like that. When I receive the report of my students and I see that they're making 20% per month, I usually get upset. Why you are being so greedy? Because it's working, I know. But I'm also telling you that the time when it's not working, you will be punished by the market.
Well, there's been a massive shift in the financial powers in the world.
Some governments, they create fear, they create instability because sharks cannot take money from the 87% of people who just jump into the market without knowing what they were doing.
Have you ever had your IQ tested?
Yes.
Oh, bloody hell, in the presence of a genius. Gladiators, welcome back to IGTV. Gladiator style. Today I have a special guest. Dave and I realized that we had too much masculine energy in our podcast, and we thought today we're going to find. Actually, I sent it to the universe saying I want an outstanding, smart lady to come and join us as our special guest. And today we have Silvia Vianello. Vianello. Welcome, all the way from Italy.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Join us in the arena.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a little bit about you. You're a professor.
Yes, I'm a professor.
So, professor of what? And tell us more, please.
Finance, yeah. I have a PhD in economics and finance. So I like teaching people how to invest wisely and with a little bit of more consciousness their money.
So you have your own university?
I have my own
online
school. Yes. Mm-hmm. Before I was teaching in top-notch business school all over the world until I decided that maybe it was time for me to have my own school.
Were you ever an entrepreneur before, or is this
Yes.
the first time?
No, I was an entrepreneur in Italy as well and also in the United States. Before,
What businesses did you have?
before consulting. Yeah, consulting.
Always in economics and finance.
And in marketing and digital and technology. So I always like to see what is new. Yeah.
It sounds like your expertise, Dave.
100%. I'd like to wind it back a little bit. What made you want to go into this industry?
Which industry? Finance or marketing?
Well, into the finance industry. What made you? Because it sounds like you've been in it your entire life. You've always been fascinated by it. You studied it.
Yeah.
But not everybody does. Why was it so special to you?
Well, there are several reasons. So my bachelor is in marketing sales. Then I took my master and then I took my PhD because I discovered that if you stick too much in one industry, maybe you're not going to get wherever you want to go. So I had a dream. I had several dreams actually, but I have one specific dream that I mentioned to Dariush the other day. I wanted to take my family out of poverty. So it's not only what I wanted to do, but also what I needed to do to make it happen. So finance is the best industry.
So you wanted to... Did you do it by thinking about reverse engineering and you want to be here, so how do I get to here?
Correct.
Or do you just thought, throw myself in and to learn as much as I can, just so I can start being the rainmaker and I can start creating it myself?
It's just that at school, they don't teach you money. They don't teach you how money works. So I needed to learn by myself. So even if I had a PhD in economics and finance, I wasn't actually able to do what I'm doing. So I had to learn by myself. So what did I do was like, okay, I need to find someone who is living the life that I would like to live and copy and learn. Instead of thinking about regular traditional educational system, I thought, okay, I took my bachelor, I took my master, I took my PhD, and now what? I don't know how to make money. So I thought maybe it's better that I learn. So I found a mentor, and this guy was living in Gran Canaria, living his best life without any degree. So not study at all, but he studied from the best financial traders in the world. And he was living the life he wanted.
It's a little like Rich Dad Poor Dad, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's
Robert
exactly the
Kiyosaki's
story.
also,
Yeah.
So
Kiyosaki.
going back as childhood, what was the conversation about money like in your home?
In my home, conversation about money. We have no money. There was no conversation.
So was money evil? Was money rich people are bad people?
No.
Money's hard to find?
No. My mom was like, you need to study. You need to study. You need to study because
Which means you get a good job.
you get a good job as an employee. I was like, no, mom, that's not the way you make money. So when I was 17, I left.
What made you? Why not many people think that at a young age?
Yeah.
That education is not, job is not for me, right? So what made you different, do you think?
I didn't want to have the life, unfortunately, miserable life that they had. So I thought I have to do something different, because if I do the same, if I follow the same path, when I was 17, they told me, you have to go to school. And then they were like, oh no, you know what? We don't have money for food. You have to go to work. No, I have to go to school. No, you can't, because we need you to work. No, you don't understand. You told me for so many years that I need to study to get this family out of poverty, so I need to get and study. So I was doing 3 different jobs. I was paying for my high school as well, and then my bachelor, etc. But luckily enough, even if I was born poor, I was born in a country where you have a lot of scholarship. So working and with the scholarship, I was able to make it.
So at school you were smart. You were a smart pupil. Are you ultra smart? Have you ever had your IQ tested?
Yes, 142.
Oh, bloody hell. We're in a genius, in the presence of a genius.
No,
I don't think I'm double figures, to be honest with you.
No, I'm at 83, I think.
no, that's not true.
Mine's going backwards.
No.
Maybe 38.
That's more or less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay. Do you have to be good at finance? Do you have to be good at maths?
For what I'm doing? No, because AI also helps a lot now.
Well, before that, you had to be good at maths.
Not really, because still we had software. Software in finance have been there for so long now. I mean, AI was there in finance even before it was spread to the public. So we were using software since quite a few years before AI was even launched.
I read about Rothschilds,
Okay.
and they had banks in the 1800, 1900. They had banks all over. They still do, but there was more open banks, and they would lend money to all governments. And no matter what happened, they will make money, because they're lending to the French, to the British, to the Germans, to everyone, and they will make money. But I believe where they made the most, because I don't quite understand it, where they made the most amount of money was they controlled the communication. So when Wellington was beating Napoleon, they were the first to know.
Right.
So they bought and sold. Are you aware of that? Before the market knew. So how does that work? Speed is important, right?
Okay. When something is in the news, it's too late to buy, first of all. Okay. If it's in the news, it's too late. Okay. So let's touch the topic in a politically correct way. Okay. So
Well, Rothschild's not going to come after us, so don't worry.
Certainly not the ones from Napoleon's days.
Press is a business, right? It's a business. Financial press is a business, right? So if you see something in the news, it doesn't mean that there is the potential for like a stock to grow or an opportunity for you to buy. It's just that maybe they have some interest involved in suggesting or recommend you that financial advice. So we have to be extremely careful in what we read and never go into the market naked, which is very important.
We're going to go through that. That's a bit more technical
Yeah.
stuff. So how do you get information before it's in the news?
How do you get information before it's in the news?
If I'm on the high street and I want to take advantage of stock opportunities, how do I do that?
Hey, you need to do, well, first of all, we have software for that.
Okay.
So we can study the balance sheet of the company. We can see if they have a lot of debt, how cash they have, and their liquidity. There are a lot of parameters that I teach now how to but either you learn or you have software that they give you the forecast of the potential improvement of that stock, and they give you the fair value score. Fair value means that the company maybe now is undervalued. It means that there is a lot of potential for growth.
So you could go now to ChatGPT and say, find me the top 5% companies in there.
That's the problem. Don't trust ChatGPT or financial advice, or at least not yet. That's not the right
Does
software.
it give me the top 5 undervalued stocks?
I wouldn't do that.
Wow.
No.
You guarantee me there's lots of people who are going, I can do that now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do
be
that.
honest, I've already done it. But I didn't invest. I was like, I'm such a smart ass. I know how to do this.
Yeah, but if you do that, you have 50-50 probabilities, and I don't like 50-50.
Casino, yeah.
I don't like 50-50 probabilities. I will never enter a trade with less than 90 to 95% of probability. Never, ever. No. Maximum risk I'm willing to tolerate is 5% maximum. And if I do tolerate 10%, it means that really, like, we can never be sure about the market, so that's why we need to protect ourselves before we enter the market. So then the level of protection will define the level of risk you're willing to tolerate when you are into the market. If you just buy a stock, you have 50-50 probabilities. The stock can go up or it can go down. You have. I don't have the magical ball, and say, okay, this is gonna happen. So
future.
I just want to take the up if the stock or the ETF or the future or the commodity, whatever, is going up, and I don't want to take the down. That's the most important thing in finance.
What's the typical turnaround time then when you get some information saying this is a great time to buy or it's a great time to sell, but you can miss the window? How big is that window?
Sometimes just minutes.
So you have to be paying attention to it all the time, or do you get alarms that remind you on your phone, have a look at this? And so.
Okay, it depends, because we do 12 different strategies. Some of them are daily strategies. Of course, for a daily strategies, then maybe you have sometimes only seconds. Sometimes we have some trading that they last 1 minute, in, out. If you miss that, then, but you can set up it. I can set up the night before. So maybe now I'm doing trading, maybe when I'm talking to you, because I set up last night.
So you've got software that will buy if a certain thing is a certain time, you will grab that and it will just be there waiting for you when you get back.
No, they will also close the position.
Okay.
You can open and close.
Yeah.
Now, there's a pattern, right, on everything? There's a pattern? You follow patterns?
We do. For example, for commodities, we have seasonality. Yeah, for commodities, we can have seasonality. So we have, like, for example, daily trades. It's more like on the future, for example, on the index.
Could you explain what they mean, future and index?
So index, like SP 500, we have the top 500 companies in the on states. Because why it's called SP 500? Because ideally they consider the top 500 companies, not just in the States, sometimes in the world.
It's based on revenue, profits, collectively.
Yeah. So based on the market values. And then we have NASDAQ. NASDAQ, we have the top technological companies, okay? And then we have other, like Russell 1000, Russell 2000, depending on, if they're a small company, mid cap, depending on the capitalization of the company. Yeah.
Wow. And then I've got so many questions.
Yes,
Are you
I
good
can
with
see
this?
that. I've got mine in a back burner here.
I've got so many questions to
But
ask.
for the average person, they don't know enough about this to get involved. It's like literally trying to cross a street, not near a zebra crossing. You will get run over. You see it all going like that, and it's really hard to know when to jump in.
But it
what you do see,
eliminate the chances of being run over, because you go to...
But that's
like
exactly
Silvia.
the point. There's lots of people all the time, especially in fintech and crypto, saying, I can help you. I've got an amazing deal. If you've got any money, let me show you exactly how to do it. It's been typical for wealth managers before crypto to help you, but then you go, where's he gone? And he's gone out of business himself. So even worse now with the crypto financial situation. So where would be the starting point? Should somebody do like you did and just learn to do it yourself? Or should you get an expert in and trust them? In which case, what criteria do you need for those experts?
Thank you for this question. That's very, very interesting. Okay, so recently, for the first time in history, I think, the UAE government decided to have the film influencer license. Mm-hmm. So I contacted them. I contacted the authority because I wanted to see the parameters. And I received all the documentation like a few days ago, really recently.
Yes.
So finally, also we will have, they established right now, like a week ago, finally in the UAE, we will have like a license. So it will be a first way to see who is reliable and who is not reliable, because they ask for a lot of stuff like your criminal report, your credit score, and a lot of documents. My PhD, they are asking everything. My work experience, a reference letter from the business. They're asking for everything just to see.
So they actually knew what they were doing. It's not like, let's see how it goes. We come out with a rule, let's see how it goes. They actually know what they're doing.
Not only that, they say that also we will need to have some training on how and when and what we can post on social media, for example, and how we can deal with the business. So, but it's the first actually country, for my best knowledge, it's the first country in the world doing this. And
but
I
then
think
there's Americans and the British, they can advertise from there on our platforms here. That doesn't kind of stop the gurus.
Well, I was going to jump on what you were just saying there, just to expand it a little bit further. There's one thing from being in a different country and taking advertising space here, but there's also a fact, but with this new qualification, does that mean everybody who's working in the market, unless they get qualified,
they cannot do anymore.
They can't
so
get fined.
it's wiped out the entire market.
You can get deported.
So the phone's not going to ring
Yeah,
with people
it is.
trying to sell me anything for a while.
No,
Ma-
unless they have.
I mean, they just established that, but I hope that will clean a lot of
Wow.
But
scammer.
if you're on a do not call list, they're not supposed to contact you anyway, right? But they do. So you need to
Still
report
good.
them, get a hassle of reporting and finding it. Well, you don't get anything anyway for reporting it. So
All right.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy, and I'm preparing all the documentation because I
because you
really
want-
want to have the license
but
as
then
possible.
most of your clients are not in the UAE. Most of your clients are all over the world, right? So
Yes, yes.
So somebody in America or Australia or South Africa can advertise their online expertise here.
Online advertising will be
Yeah.
controlled as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think so? From
Yes.
abroad. From abroad.
Well, for example, in Italy, we have already this authority. We don't have a license like the field influencer license that we're gonna have here, but the authority is checking on whoever is posting something, how, and
Yeah, I think it's like a federal authorization in the UK
Yeah.
as well, but they're not very good.
yeah. I think
They
I
always
think,
react to complaints. They're not proactive.
yeah, but I think the world is changing on this, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of countries will try to, copy this positive, example that we have in the UAE, and they will try to make it happen in their own country because it's necessary. Like you cannot continue scamming people like this. That's not normal.
Professor, I've been, over the last 5-6 years, everybody's talking about crypto.
Yes.
Bitcoin is like, but then I'm sure you're listening, you're thinking there's opportunities in stock, there's opportunities in other places to make money.
Sure.
So what's your opinion about crypto? Is it here to last? What do you think about people listening thinking, well, I want to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, do you advise people on
Okay.
crypto?
Once again, let's go back 1 second. So crypto is like a betting, we can say. So it can go up or down. I don't do that type of trading, but now we have ETF spot, they are called. What does it mean? That they invest directly in Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. Since they are ETF and they are regulated by the SEC in the States, then what I can do my strategies, which is called the squeeze strategy, with squeeze because we squeeze the market both up and down.
Well,
That's why we call it squeeze. So what do? We can protect ourselves if Bitcoin is going down, because we have we call it, let's say, insurance. Okay, to make it simple, not to use a very technical glossary. So we can buy the insurance before we go into the market. So before we buy the ETF Bitcoin spot or the ETF Ethereum spot, for example, we buy the insurance. So if from that moment Bitcoin will go down,
Opposite.
I don't lose anything. I will sell the ETF for at least the same price that I bought it, or Ethereum for at least the same price that I bought it, and I take all the up if it goes up, and I don't take the down. That's the way we do
Where'd you get the
trading.
insurance from? That's amazing tactics. Where'd you get the insurance from?
Option trading from you can use for
I used to do option trade.
yeah.
So what you do is you buy puts,
You can buy a put, for example.
but then
Yeah.
puts are time sensitive, aren't they?
Yeah, but you can decide.
So puts are when it goes down, you make money. Calls are when it goes up.
Okay.
But then they are time restricted. As time gets where the value goes down.
It depends, because the put we have buy or sell, and call we have buy or sell. You can either buy or sell a call, or you can buy or sell a put. So
Okay,
depending
let's
on the
say-
way
let's
you
say we
mix.
buy something at $100, okay,
Yes.
and then we think through the study that it's going to go up 5%, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, but then we want to put insurance.
Yes.
So you have an option. You put yourself the idea at 1 o'clock. I'm going to buy $100 stock, and then I'm going to buy puts.
Yes.
Okay, that's going to cover me if it goes down.
Yes.
But the puts aren't so relevant to the price of the stock. They are maybe
Depends on
$1
volatility.
Oh.
The price of the put will depend on the volatility in that moment. For the expiry
So how
date.
do you calculate? Because what happens, Dave? You get a chart, and it says if it's going to be 99, it's $1. It's going to be 98, it's $1.50. Where do you make that decision? Which one's the one you want?
We have software.
You have your own software.
No. It's not my own software. Software are available in the markets for
Which software? Which software, doctor?
we use Power Option. For Power Option, for
Powered
example.
Option.
Yeah, I'm not affiliate with it, so it's not
You did
advertising.
a consultancy session. He was like, "Hey,
So, yeah.
gonna get
We're
on-
charging Professor $10,000, so
There you
fair
go.
off, right?
Fantastic.
So you have a price to pay for the insurance. We offset the price with 12 different income methods, it's called. So we have many different ways to make sure that that insurance will not cost us anything.
Wow.
So we have a protection for zero. We call it bulletproof strategy. This is a married put. Married put means I don't go into the market naked. I always protect myself. No matter what is going to happen in the market, I will take the up. Or in the super worst case scenario, what?
But most people don't know about this, do they? Most people
No,
must
they
be
don't
just going out
really.
there and losing money
They are the
and going
buy and
bankrupt.
hold or day traders, and 99% of people lose, right?
87%. 87% of traders they lose money. But it's very simple if you think. We were talking about let's assume that today I wanna take a plane and pilot, and I wanna be a pilot. No, I've never studied it, right? I have no clue which button should I touch. But I take what is gonna happen. I'm gonna crash, right? There's no other option.
87% chance.
No, 99.9 and infinitive, So this is gonna happen. So why people think that if you need to be a doctor, you need to study 10 years. If you need to be a lawyer, you need to study 6-7 years. If you need to pilot, an airplane, you need to study and take a license. Why they think they can go into the market and they can do it? Because it's easily accessible.
It's perception of the market as well, because you get a phone call or you bump into somebody who says, I can come and see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and also because there are a lot of market makers, okay? Market makers, they're not really brokers. So you think you are buying, for example, I don't know, an Apple stock, but you're not.
And then the middleman, they're going to make margin.
You're not even in the market. You don't belong to the shareholders. You think you are, but you don't, because you are using a platform that is not exactly into the market.
Oh, wow.
So they are
if
making
I own
them.
stock, I'll tell you what, do I own the shares in the company? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you one thing is really strange.
It depends on where you bought it.
I tell you now. The problem is I've rarely seen dividends. And I'm thinking, is it because I don't own the shares?
Probably because you don't own the share.
IBKR.
I don't want to discuss about single. But
It gets sued.
No, I'm not saying-
Interactive Brokers is a broker. It's not a market maker. It's a broker.
It's a broker.
It's
So
a
I
broker.
do own the stock.
Yes, it's a broker.
So get a bit worried there. Okay.
Yeah, but there are a bunch of market makers.
And the market makers could be speculative, right? They could take your money.
Of course,
And
they
give
make
you-
money out of any transaction you do, but not in terms of commission, in terms of price. So you think that the price in that moment is a specific price?
No, they set it to your higher or lower. Yeah.
Exactly. So don't just make sure you're using a broker and you're not using a market makers, because otherwise, whoever is going to make money is not you.
Charles Schwab is a broker.
I don't want to go into every single, because
No,
then
they were huge. I used to deal with Charles Schwab, were they?
because otherwise you're gonna start asking me market makers, and I need to admit that they are, and I don't want to do that. So don't ask me specific.
Ask
figure.
Charles Schwab.
What are the repercussions? So if you did start answering those questions, what would be the knock-on effect for you? If you're telling it as it is, then surely that's legit. But is it about the politics behind it that you could be so
They
careful?
might sue you or something.
Correct. So the only thing I declare here is that Interactive Brokers is a broker, and is the broker I use.
Oh, yes.
So they're and I'm not affiliate, so it's
No,
just
no, don't
it's
worry
just
about
because
it.
out of all the market makers and the brokers, I found is the cheapest one in terms of commission. So I need to keep my costs as low as possible, especially because sometimes I do 80 trades in a day, so I cannot have a lot of commission, Yeah. When we met, I was doing trading when you were on a call in front of you with my phone, but it seems that it's so accessible that everybody can do it.
One thing amazed me when you were trading, you did it by memory? You did it by memory because you didn't pull anything out, you just went buy and sell, whatever you did. I was like, if you're doing so much, whatever stock, if it was stock.
No, because I was trading with the future because the stock exchange was still closed. The market was still, Wall Street was still closed at the time.
So you done your research and you were going futures. Future is forecasting the price in the future, correct?
Correct. Yeah, but I was doing with index. So future is open 23 hours per day.
What's an index? It's an average.
Index, as I was mentioned before, for example, the top 500 companies in the world, or the small, middle cap.
So average of the top 500?
Yes. Wall Street. We invest in Wall Street because in Wall Street we can buy the protection.
Because the market's so big?
No, in Europe, for example, you have options, but they have different rules. So... and there is not much liquidity because there is no knowledge. So no knowledge, people are not actually...
Because the market here is so small. Anything can go up and down. I bought some stock. They went up through the roof and the next year it went bust.
Right.
The liquidity wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well, I was involved in a couple of crypto organizations and hosting their events. One event in Rio for like 3,000 people and so on. And I bought stock in my organization, which disappeared. No,
you bought blockchain. You bought crypto.
Crypto, yeah, absolutely. And
casino.
And it went very quiet, and nobody in the organization was still there later. But there's been a massive shift in the financial powers in the world. So London used to be the place where everything happened, but then with crypto and fintech, it moved to small places like Cyprus and Malta and Bahrain and so on. That makes a huge difference to the impact and the power of each country. So the dynamics are quite strong relating to it, isn't it? Is that a question you can't answer?
Very, very fascinating question. And we can open like the Pandora box here because a lot of words in the world are basically financial words. They
always have been. Though.
You don't need army for this type of word. You can just remove a country from the SWIFT system, for example, or you can just. I mean, everything is now on semiconductor, rare earth, advanced technology, and financial reason are the reason why we have words, typical words. But there are a lot of words that we don't see. And are very dangerous. Like if you spread a fake news, for example, it can have an impact of 10,000 bombs. Okay.
Because I'm going to put a 200% tariff on China. You know what the market's going to happen, right? You know what the market's going to happen.
So information manipulation and or kind of cyber attack. People make a lot of money out of it, okay, out of speculation, depending on fake news, for example. So there is a lot of things that people should try to understand. Don't trust everything you read, for example, not just on social media, also on established press. Be careful what you read because they might need that information to spread out because something is going to happen that will make someone very rich.
That's true in almost every industry, in almost every subject. When it goes out there, there's a reason it's been driven. But can you just explain to me, when we're talking about the impact of war and finances, some people are like that. And in the old days, it would be war was the best business model of all time because what you could do is, first of all, if you're a politician, declare a war with somebody, anybody, and so your competition then has to calm down because you've got to get behind the country, which you're leading into war. And it also means that you get all these little contracts moving, little big contracts, to change all the old weaponry into new weaponry. So that would be, it's almost like nuts and bolts ways of making money through war. And you can guarantee position of stability during that. But there's other things that are going on. When you talk about the stock exchange, you talk about the fintech side of it, when there is volatility between countries, there's people going, ooh.
Yes.
Now, what goes through their heads? Talk me through that process, because it's really hard to understand.
Okay. If the market is volatile, more volatility means a lot of money for someone able to
As
take
in
it.
floating money.
Yeah. No. Just more volatility, you can make a lot more trades. Okay. But you need to know in advance that volatility is going to happen. So sometimes, let's say that the world is an amazing place to live, everybody is in peace, we have no wars in any part of the world, we're super happy, AI is taking our job, but we're happy because we get our salary from the government, and everybody's happy. Now we're working 4 days a week and not 5. Who's making money out of this? Nobody. So let's try to be, again, politically correct. Some governments are happy to make instability, real or fake, instability in
Manufactured.
the world.
Yeah, because they control it.
Because if there is instability, real or fake, once again, but if people think there is instability, then they get scared. Fear is one of the most important driven. Okay, so if you have this driven force that people are gonna sell, for example, that's the volatility we need. Or something's going to jump up because, you know what? I changed my mind about the fact that maybe I should impose this tariff to that country or not. And then I change my mind, and then the market goes up 8%. So changing minds creates volatility.
Continue, please.
When you've got a situation like this, and we're talking about, what happens underneath the surface of a war, and when organizations or governments drive fear around everything, would it work if we're all happy? Is there enough for everybody to be rich and happy if it was done a different way? Or does it have to be a complete imbalance for us to be successful?
From being rich.
Say again?
You can be happy with that money.
No, that's not the same question. No, my question
If
is...
you're just rich, what are you happy for?
What?
Is there enough money for everybody to be rich? Not rich and happy.
No, I'm not asking that. There's enough money
related.
because you wouldn't be rich if everyone's got the same money. Because rich is looking at what you've got compared to everybody.
There's enough money for everyone.
Yeah,
but
is there enough?
Everybody takes advantage.
Right, that's the point I was making about abundance. There's enough for everybody, but for it to work for the people to have super money and crazy money now, it's at the expense of people who don't have the knowledge or
But it's
that
not
insight.
at the expense, is it? It's not at the expense.
Well, that's why I'm asking it. Because it could be, say, a world
It doesn't
where
have to be a
everybody's
buyer
doing
and
okay.
loser, does it? There's people buying and selling all the time.
I'm talking about the overall structure, not just for the stock exchanges.
Okay, as a matter of fact, rich are getting richer. Okay, so the 1% is able to control 80% of the total wealth in the world. Okay,
But
that's a
it's
fact.
not at the detriment.
Correct. So the thing is that money are also created out of nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because central bank can just, let's say, print money. This is what happened during COVID to support all the economies, and that's why we got that inflation up everywhere in the world, because a lot of money were pouring into the different economies, right, to support, because what we had in that moment was like really without any recent situation like that. So they felt that they had to do it. Okay, so the thing is, I think maybe we can tackle this from a different angle, like, because if we read their book Factfulness, okay, how the world is better than what we think. So if you ask 1,000 people, okay, about simple questions like, do you believe that overall kids are receiving their vaccine, for example, more or less in the world compared to 10 years ago? Or do you think that the average salary is blah, blah. So if you ask like general thing about general poverty or not in the world, we might be wrong and we might think that the world is getting worse. No, the world is actually getting better.
Isn't it?
It's getting better. So facts, because I'm a number girl, okay? So facts are telling us that overall the world is getting better, okay? But it's different if we think about like healthcare and money, for example. Do we have access to the same probability to survive, okay, in case of different disease or different situation? So the other day I was searching for the price of a bunker. The price per square meter for a bunker. forget it. You need to be extremely rich to have a bunker, like a room like this. So the access that you have to some luxury. So why it's a luxury? Why it's a luxury if I don't know, and let's say not the nuclear bomb, but let's say that an asteroid is going to hit the planet. Why is a luxury to have such a luxury that you have to be multi-millionaire to have a bunker? You know, why is that a luxury? Why I don't have the same probability of survival?
Are you seriously looking at buying a bunker?
I was good. No, because I wanted to see why we had now this.
People are selling them, are they?
No,
There's a market for bunkers?
yeah, we have bunkers here in UAE as well.
I didn't know. And you can buy?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I know I've got families at various places around the world who are in bunkers right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, of course. But also, I mean, a few days ago, people got a call and they were there in the bunker.
Wow.
So that's the thing, you know. So you need to think like why we don't have, you know, the possibility to save ourselves in case of a bad accident happen. Or there were a time in history when, you know, the volcanoes, they were like erupted and the entire world was like not in the dark, but like. I mean, the probability of survival is not the same for everybody. So, because it depends on how rich you are. Not if you have money now to buy food and to survive today, but it depends on what's going to happen in the world. That's where money counts.
I'm sure. But what can you tell me through them? Because we've gone in a little bit into what happens during war and how there's massive opportunities. What about during COVID? When we had a pandemic, what happened to the money?
Personally, during COVID, we had a lot of volatility. So as a trader,
It was good times.
I made 271% in a month.
Wow.
And it was the only month, but that happened to me. So you always need to consider like if you asked me 2 days ago when we had this situation here in the Gulf, the first thing I was asking myself is why they're doing this and who is benefit from it and how the markets will react and what is going to go up and how I can take the opportunity. So either you fear what is going to happen in the world or you take advantage of it. There's nothing in between.
You go into hiding or you...
Or you just like, whoa, okay. What's going to happen exactly? Okay, let's do it. So you need to know how to properly act. If there is a news like that one, then everybody's petrified, everybody's closing themselves in the house, or you're like, okay, let me see how these dynamics are going to change the world. So the price of crude oil is actually a very important driven of markets.
It's gone down now, isn't it?
Because now there's no the threat anymore that they're gonna close the Strait of Hormuz and all that. But again, why they should close the Strait when 20% of the crude oil is going there, especially because you're gonna punish yourself and the region. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna punish. You're not gonna punish someone else. You're gonna punish Europe. You're gonna punish China because they import from Iran, and you're not gonna punish.
Your own pockets.
You're not going to punish the country that you think you're going to punish because they export crude oil. So if they export crude oil, if the price goes up, they're blah. So again, when you start understanding these dynamics, whatever is going to happen, either a pandemic, biological mass destruction, bombs, instability, then you're like, okay, I know how to act and I take advantage of it. This is what I teach people, how to take advantage of situation, not to perish. So when, for example, we had the big inflation, I was like, guys, either to my students, to my community, either you get stuck in a situation where the price of this is higher, the utilities are higher, the rent is higher, this is higher, or you take advantage of the increase of the price. So instead of feel that you are punished by the situation, you take advantage of it. You need to change the perspective in life.
And most people think opposite.
Yes, they're scared, you know. Instead of think, oh, I'm scared that this is going to happen, and now, no. How can I learn how to be among whoever can take advantage. Not like you don't need to be BlackRock, okay? You don't need to be JP Morgan. You just need to understand and do what is needed for you. So you don't need to make $1 million in the financial market, but maybe you have a different source of revenue and you can change your status.
Professor, for instance, I learned that if there's a hurricane in America on the East Coast, you invest in housing companies, right? Or timber companies and stuff like this. When there's a war or potential of war here, where I get my head, apart from oil, where else do you invest in manufacturing of arms?
Well, we have stocks like Rheinmetall in Europe that they went up 200% this year.
Really?
Yeah, but you don't have to invest. The thing is that
It was all weaponry, was it? Or anything associated with weaponry?
Defense stocks, yeah. The defense stocks this year, they went to the roof. Well, but again, you don't invest in stock naked. Again, you don't do that. You put insurance first, and then you take all the up, and you live happily. Like
so, it's a good thing. Well, everyone else is going like this. Financial people.
It's opportunity. That's opportunity.
They create fear. They create instability.
Yeah, so it makes more cash.
Okay, let me. Can I be a little bit more technical for a second?
With him, you can. You left me about an hour ago. But carry on.
I think you decided. You know, it's easy for you.
Okay, so
he's far smarter than me.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't look. He doesn't look. He is smart.
So we have one parameter. It's called VIX, and it's the index of volatility for stocks. So to make a long story short, based on that number, if that number is below 20, it means there is very little volatility. It means that the world expects that there's not going to be anything very disruptive in the next month, okay? If it's below 20. If it's above 20, it means that there is a little bit of instability, volatility, because maybe someone is studying another country, or because maybe now we want all the production to go back in our own country. We don't want globalization anymore, this kind of thing, So recently in April, we had that number, VIX, the index of instability, okay? Just to make it very, very simple. I'm sorry if we have professional traders here, but I want to make everybody understand. So we have that number went up to 60. Usually, history teaches us that if we have VIX above 50, not 60, 50, once in a moment during the year, in the next 12 months, stock exchanges are usually going up 35%. Why? Because they create the volatility to make let's say to fake the market to crash, and indeed the market went down 10% in 2 days. Okay, that's why the VIX went up that much. But we had an all-time high yesterday. I mean, we are in the whole time again. That happened in April. We are like what 2 months after?
Market.
We are already we are already in all-time high again. So this volatility is created on purpose because sharks can take the money from the 87% of people who just jump into the market without knowing what they were doing. And if you had the protection, you feel the price of the protection, they will go up. So you're making money out of your protection because your protection is an asset. Wow. It's not just an insurance, it's also an asset. So you can either decide, you know what, after the market went down 10%, 15%, I can also sell it and make money after my own protection. And then wait for the volatility to decrease to buy another one. So you need to start understanding this. Otherwise, you're like blind, oblivious.
Well, it reminds me of the movie Twister. So Twister, all about these hurricanes and stuff. And so when these are going on, everyone's running for cover, but these guys are driving their trucks into it going, let's see what's actually happening in the center of it. That's kind of what you guys are doing with all this. I want to throw another question at you, which is what happens with AI in all this? AI is a volatility that a handful of people are controlling, but it is really out of their control because they're all fighting against each other for who's going to have the biggest AI and the most effective AI. Where does that go with the financial people? Are they choosing who to play with, or is it just affecting other industries and that's what they're looking at? How does this work?
Okay, it depends if we are discussing about how to use AI for trading or for investment,
No.
or if
the impact
AI
on the markets.
we have different ways of looking at it.
Right.
Okay, so now we have a lot of companies that are investing a lot of their current research and investment budget per year on AI. Why? Because whoever is going to win the AI
Race.
ecosystem, let's call ecosystem and not war, even if it's a kind of.
But it is.
It is. Will become the most powerful country in the world, right? So that's why they don't want to use, in some part of the world, they don't want to use the AI, or they don't want their people to use the AI from the other part of the world, right? But as a matter of fact, the other part of the world was able to do the same thing for a lot less amount of money. So you were spending a fortune to have the same type of technology, and here they were like, I've done the same with the...
That Chinese company.
Yeah, with a fraction of the price.
What was it called? What's it called? It begins with S, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
No, just... okay. Then
So,
there's ChatGPT, then there's Google one.
So that's with an R, I think, doesn't it?
It begins with S. It begins with S, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I can't remember. Seek something.
Oh, come on.
DeepSeek, yeah.
DeepSeek, thank you.
DeepSeek, that's it, yeah.
And so the thing is, yes, as I was mentioning before, the situation with semiconductor and rare earths and advanced technology, this is where the real war is right now. Okay, so this is where companies and countries are competing, and they are going to compete in this type of.
But wouldn't you then, seeing as you're all twister chasers, sorry, but that analogy kind of makes me think I understand what's happening next. Don't you look at the AI and say the odds of AI changing that industry and that industry are very high?
Yeah.
So therefore, I should really be ready to catch the money that's going to be dancing around if that is not volatile yet. For instance, medicine, law, fintech, AI will change the way that those things are going to be done, and people will have to adapt to that. Just like automated taxis are going to change with AI. Do you then look at the stocks and the ability to make money in those markets and say, they don't know it yet, but something's going to happen in that? So you're chasing the potential of unemployment or changes in industry and saying that's going to be volatile, that's where the money is. Or do you just chase AI and say that's where the money is?
No, I wouldn't chase AI and say that's where the money is, because those are still startups, and startups have 80% probability of fail in the first year for whatever reason, So even if they're big, I mean they are protected from big corporation, but AI, if I have to be worried about AI, I'm worried about something different. Like, for example, that we trust AI too much. AI is killing creativity for the kids. Or, now we have AI and as smart as Einstein. In a matter of 1 year, it will be double. Because AI is learning from us. It's learning all our fears. It's learning all our emotion. It's learning what he's not able to do by himself. And he can perform tasks that it's impossible for us. But at the same time, predict the financial market is different. Why? Because financial markets are based on perception, not on reality. So AI cannot predict perception.
Well, it can recognize patterns.
Yes, but perception of reality. So if we have some numbers, like those numbers are telling us that NVIDIA, for example, that company, working on AI, so it's going to jump. Yeah, but perception of reality is more important than the reality itself. So markets are not rational. Most of the time, markets are not rational. Right. So that's why they spread fake news, etc. Because perception of reality, especially for the markets, but not only, is more important than the reality itself. So whatever people believe in, that is going to happen in the market. Even if it doesn't, at the end, the market will always go back to the fundamentals, but not necessarily in a short amount of time. It can take months, for example. So we need to figure it out. Okay, AI technology. What if I play chess with someone that is double as smart as me? I probably gonna lose. It's just me and the machine. The machine is double as smart as me, so I will probably lose, right? Can we agree on that? But markets, they depend on so many different variables, okay, and different behavior that still AI cannot forecast, because they are based on perception. They are not based on factual. situation. Okay, so I'm
Well,
not sure if I'm making myself clear.
Makes
But
perfect sense. And that's something, even in emotions, that AI can't do yet.
No.
Because it works out patterns.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out what's actually happening
Yeah,
with things anyway.
the worst enemy in trading is your emotion. That's not. I can teach you everything, but as long as when you get emotional, you do the opposite of what I'm telling you to do, then I cannot do anything.
Talk me through that process. When you say the worst part of it is you,
Yeah.
what are the processes that people go through? It's like, for instance, if somebody loses a loved one, then they've got grief and they've got anger and they've got, settlement with it and then the positivity, or what the stages are. What are the things that are involved in trading?
In trading,
Yeah.
the thing is that when something happens, okay, you are bombarding with the news, like notification, like this is gonna have this. Oh, we're all gonna die. COVID, for example. Oh, we're all gonna die. The news were like terrifying us. So it's difficult to be like, is the right time to make money in the financial market? You don't know what is gonna happen. I mean, you are stuck here. There are no flights. You cannot go anywhere. You need to stay in the house. They tell you that it's so dangerous. You're freaking out. So same last night, 2 nights ago, when this happened in the region, I was receiving videos from Qatar, people from Qatar, from their windows. They had no clue what, and they were like sending to friends in the UAE and in Bahrain and in Kuwait or whatever. It was not even in the news yet. You freak out, like what? So and then you feel a lot of strain also here, like why? Maybe it was just an ambulance, someone was sick, I don't know, but still, you're just freaking out. So when we have this moment of volatility, people are just freaking out, and everybody's freaking out. Your parents, people start calling me from Europe, like, are you okay? Are you okay? For what? It's not. They didn't even attack UAE. Of course, I'm okay. I'm in my house. I'm doing trading. But everybody around you will freak you out. So you're like,
You cut the noise out.
okay, forget about all this. Let's switch off the phone. No news. Let me check the numbers. And just let me focus. Let me see what's going on in the market, how the markets are reacting, what are the numbers that my parameters, the one I care, not the news, not the relatives, not the friends. You need to just isolate yourself and focus on what you're doing. And it's not that simple.
How long can a human being do that for? The reason I say it is I've got various friends I've known throughout my entire life who've worked in the stock exchanges, and they burn out badly. Maybe late 20s, early 30s, and you talk to somebody who's made loads of money, but they're very difficult to talk to because they're kind of like shell-shocked on the back of it. There is a natural burnout that can come with this as well, isn't it?
Yeah, like for example, my mentor, the person who did teach me all this stuff, the day that Russia attacked Ukraine, he was doing trading and there was a lot of volatility. He was making $100,000 in one day. And at that point, even if he has been doing this for so long, he felt so bad. Like, I'm making money out of people. People are dying. What I'm doing? So he decided not to pursue that. So, because if you understand what I'm talking about, it means that you are either part of the winner, the winner in terms of the 1% of people who are getting richer, okay, or the 99% of the loser. But to be part of the winner, it means that you have, from an ethical point of view, to accept what is going to happen. And sometimes I have trouble with this also for myself. So I also tell my students, don't exaggerate. Do you need more than $1,000 per day, for example? Maybe not. Do you need more than 2,000?
Greed could be.
Greed. It's a big issue in trading, because when you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money, but then you will start questioning yourself. Mm-hmm. What I'm doing for the society. Also, what I tell my students how to deal with that is like, give back. Always give back.
Interesting.
Say if you are doing this, then the money you have, the money you are making, it's important that the money you are making, you give back. So at least you are spreading your money in a more positive way.
So that emotional state that we're talking about, we started mentioning a few moments ago, is a really important part of the ecosystem of a trader. They need to be able to feel that they're not selling their soul just to
Yes.
make the cash.
Correct.
But that's not everybody, because every experience I've had of dealing with that is not the case. And there's lots of people who it becomes addictive and the power goes to their head. I mean, everything we mentioned today about the world markets and the world events is like the tail wagging the dog. Literally a handful of people who are going, right, we'll get the dog to shake in that direction because we make the money off the back of it. So one other question at this stage anyway, if you can have the financial people driving what happens around the world of wars and so on, the media part of it is really important as well. Do they all own the media? Do they create their own media? Have they got media that just sends rumours? And so how much of that would impinge on what we have as normal media? Or is it the same thing? Do they own all the media, period?
Yeah.
So that's it.
I don't read the media to decide my trading. I have my own parameters, and either they are satisfied or they are not. What the media are saying, I don't really care. I just check my parameters. Maybe for one strategy I have 20 parameters, for another strategy I have 50. Either the conditions are satisfied or I don't enter the market. That's it.
I've got some quick questions if you don't mind to ask. The exchanges, like the exchange in the US, it's not independent, is it? The exchanges are owned.
What do you mean?
Like the New York Stock Exchange
Yeah.
is a privately owned company, correct?
I will not get into that topic. Yeah.
But people think when you say New York Stock or London Stock Exchange, you think it's independent, but they're not. I can Google it, right? They're not independent.
Independent means a lot of things, but of course.
Yes, there are companies that they profit from daily trades.
Yeah.
Do they, like for instance, the price of diamonds and golds can be manipulated, right? Because there's governing bodies that manipulate prices of gold and diamonds, correct?
De Beers have always done that.
Yeah. They are market makers.
I mean, market manipulation is very typical. Mm-hmm. In many different ways, not just,
But in the US, it's
but
less because the market is so big.
We have rules and regulation, and we have authorities that they.
Supposed to put them in control and order.
Yes.
If I want to earn $1 million, I want to go to your course and I want to earn $1 million by the end of the year. How much should I start off with?
It depends on the strategy, actually, and
Medium strategy.
medium strategy. I wouldn't think like that. I would rather think like, okay, what are your goals, first of all?
Making money is probably a large part of that.
What are you going to do with that money? Is it like children's education?
Yeah, I mean, what you want to do, how much you're willing to risk. Do you want to risk 2% per trade, 3% per trade, 5%? You don't want to risk anything per trade, which is, again, more difficult, but of course less profitable.
But with insurance, you can risk everything every day, no?
No, because you need to pay the insurance as well. It depends on how much you pay.
Okay.
It depends on the volatility, the market condition, it depends on the strategy and a lot of different things. So we need to have a deeper and a further discussion.
If I wanted on average, if I want to have $1 million, can I start with 100,000? 10,000?
No, for $1 million by the end of the year, no. Then that's not, no. So, okay, the markets on average, they give 10% per year, okay? So if you beat the market, it means that you're able to do 11, 12, 13% per year, and it's already considered pretty good, okay? So in some of our strategy, when we really push to the limit, and I tell my student, don't do more than, so when, for example, when I receive the report of my student and I see that they're making 20% per month, I usually get upset.
They're doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Exactly. So I'm like, what are you doing? This is not what I'm telling you to do. Why you are being so greedy? Because it's working, I know. But I'm also telling you that the time when it's not working, you will be punished by the market, So don't do it, because we don't do that. Mm-hmm. So don't change the strategy the way you think is better just because you're making more money. I'm telling you, those are the parameters. Don't get out of those parameters. So if you do 10% a month, it's wow. enough. Don't do 20% because you're risking too much. There's no reason. Yeah, but so it depends, because if a person has like 10,000, you can risk more but maybe it's your life savings. So so it depends on the situation of the person.
Do you advocate compounding? Do you get your students to compound?
The thing is that people don't like. Okay, trading is discipline. Okay, but like eating well is boring. Go to sleep at the same time is boring, and long-term investment is boring. So this is what people reply to me, like, sure. So discipline is boring because people want cheap dopamine, right? Scrolling, this is because they got. So the thing is, like, long-term investment, you can have 10% per year, okay, and you compound. Yes. Well, it's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. It's one of our strategy. There is nothing wrong with that. You just invest wisely in ETF and you compound it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when people approach me, they want to make more than just that, because they don't want to be rich in 30 years. They wanna have a better life. I don't like, when people approach me, I want to be rich. That's not the right approach. If you tell me that you want to have like another income, or like, for example, when I get approached from doctors, I'm always like, you have to promise me that you will keep on being a doctor, because we need you in this world.
Don't quit.
So I want to know what the person is doing before giving my knowledge out, like you can do your work instead of working 24 hours per day in the emergency room because you are stressed and you are burning out. I understand, but promise me that you will use your knowledge to help kids in Africa, for example, so whenever you have financial freedom, make sure that you use your free time wisely. So that's the promise I want. So before getting into my course, people need to talk to me, and I want to know what they're doing. I had a lot of nurses. I also had pilots, by the way, Emirates pilot and Fly Dubai pilot. So we need to have. We need to make sure we're living a better world. Not that because we're making money out of nothing. Okay, then I don't. So, like, for example, I've been a professor my whole life. Now I can just say, I don't teach anymore because I have the money and I can make money and just travel the world and don't give up. I don't do that. I keep on teaching because this is what I was doing before, and this is my mission. So don't give up. You can do at your own pace. You don't need to work I'm not working for business school anymore because I don't want to be slave of the system. If you understand what I mean.
You want to drive your own way.
I can, but I can still teach.
Professor, I have one. I don't know how long.
And I've got a question as well. So you do.
I've got just one. I go on your course, and I want to. I don't want it as a second job, right? I want to trade. I want to make 15% a month, 10%, 5% a month, which is incredibly good. How much time do I have to dedicate to this?
Okay, so it depends again on the strategy and the person. So if the person has a little bit of time during the day, then we can start exploring together daily strategy. Or if they don't have it, they can do weekly strategy. So they just need, for example, 1 hour on Monday and 1 hour on Friday, for example. Wow. Or they do monthly strategy when they're busy. Like, for example, I have a CEO of company, president. I mean, they are very busy, and they have also big capital, okay? So they can do monthly strategy. So they commit that at least they have once a month the time to manage the position, to open, to use the software.
Do you need to be available 4 hours a day, or no? None of your students need to be 4 hours a day?
No.
Maximum 1 hour a day?
We don't stay in front of the computer, in front of the graph. This is not the type of trading we do. No.
So what is it? If I want to make this seriously, professionally doing it, how long? Half an hour a day? 15 minutes a day?
Again, it depends on the strategy. If you do daily, then maybe if you have more time, then you do more often. So you make more money, right? If you don't have, like, for example...
I want to make as much money as possible, and I want to start with $100,000. So what do I need
If you want to start with $100,000, then there are also some daily strategies that are pretty good.
Daily? And how long do I spend a day in front of the screen or on my phone?
You can wake up in the morning and you put the way in. Then when they get filled, you get a notification and you decide your way out, and maybe you spend 10 minutes in the morning.
Wow. impressive, isn't it?
Amazing.
Can I get my question in there?
Yeah.
I've got a 14-year-old girl. And traditionally, what you've talked about today is not a conversation we have in our house. Never has been. Financial education was never brought me to school,
No,
anything now. But I have a very smart 14-year-old, see, I've just messed up her age, that's how good I am at numbers. And I wanted to understand a lot more about how the world works, but I don't want to overwhelm her, because at 14, if you do that, they just go, right, not interested forever.
True.
What is the way to get people who are very young to understand even the foundations of the world, the way it works, and how they can find an entry into it?
For teenagers?
Yeah, what would you say is the first starting point?
You have to be 18 to trade, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's
Depends on some country, even
So she can
older.
trade for you.
No. I wanted to understand, because by the time she gets to 18,
It's
there's
psychological.
other worlds out there, and there's friends saying this and the friends saying that. Right now, she's a student who's just absorbing as much as
Yeah.
possible to get the knowledge, even if she doesn't act on it, but the mindset that you can drive this is really important. And I'm wondering what the foundation, the entry point should be for that.
Yeah, the thing is that we are overwhelmed with wrong information. And that's a problem, especially if you're younger, right? Because you're not able to distinguish between fake, real, or something in between, right? So that's the most important thing. So I think we should teach our kids, and we should teach teenagers how to distinguish between what is real and what is fake, and why there is corruption in terms of information, and to make sure that they will be able to understand that the pressure they receive on social media, the pressure they receive with all this. Like when we were younger, we didn't have that pressure on us, because there was not comparison without social media. You were not competing with anybody.
Information wasn't so readily available.
Like now, you compete with everybody, right? And even if you just whatever social media you open, you feel that you are not good enough, because there's always someone doing something better.
Always.
So and what kills happiness? If you compare yourself, that if you compare yourself with anybody else, that creates a person unhappy, because there will always be someone who is better than you in life, and that's normal. So we need to make sure that the only competition they have is with themselves. Like your kids should think, you should try to teach the kid, like it's just a way of thinking, right? Then, but like how I can be better than myself yesterday, not of my classmate, or how can I be better than myself yesterday. So how do you do that? You don't reach that poor dad thinking, right? How do I do that? I should follow the advice only of very few people in the world. Only whoever is there where I want to be. Nobody else. Because how my parents, I love them very much, but how could they couldn't teach me what I'm doing now, because they didn't know. They don't know. They were never exposed to any of this, right? So I need to fly alone on something and try to learn from whoever is going to do what I want to do.
So, but that's not really the answer. I mean, for the question, what your answer then, if I can interpret it right, is just to have a healthy disbelief of everything and really create an ecosystem for yourself. And that will lead you into the right point of mind. So when you see things and you read things, don't just see them as they are. See them that there might be a story behind it.
Yes.
Question everything.
Question everything. Yeah. It's important for them. Otherwise, I mean, we have a situation where they cannot cope emotionally.
Big time.
And it's risky.
There's a really good analogy I read about social media, and that thing you mentioned there, where you turn it on and you go, oh my God, everyone's having a great time. Yeah. And I'm not having as good a time as everybody else. And the analogy is, imagine it's your birthday and you go into social media, you're celebrating it's your birthday. But when you actually go on, everyone's got a birthday that shows up. Mm-hmm. People don't turn up and say, I'm having a terrible, well, some people do, but you're just being bombarded by everybody's birthdays. And if it's not yours, which is once a year, then it's really overwhelming. And that's why you should ration it, and you should have that in your mind when you go on. Celebrate those that's doing it, but it doesn't mean they're doing better than you. It's just that they're showing up on their birthday. Does that make sense?
I think
And
if she doesn't have a hunger for money and a love for wealth, she won't do it. You gotta have that. You gotta have a good relationship with money, because this is the money business. The stock trading is a money business, right? So if she has a negative association with money, no matter what she listens to, she's never going to do it. Or she'll make a bit of money and then leave it, but it's all about discipline.
Yes.
So you need to have somebody who's disciplined, a child who's disciplined, hungry, and has a clear plan with what they're going to do with the money.
How many people have a 14-year-old daughter that you can talk to about any subject where she's not going to choose one way of doing it?
She's not ready yet, right? But I know, for instance, Kyan, 17, my son, he'll do it. Because he's hungry, he wants the best, he will do it.
I have students that they are university students that they take my courses sometimes. Yeah, because actually the parents discover maybe my profile, or and then they are like, I would like my son or my daughter too. And I wanna say something about women, if I can, because that's very important. Because
You can say it, we can't.
no, because in my community I'm very proud, because a lot of them, more than half of my students, are women, and I'm very proud of them, because women, since they feel more insecure, they study more and they protect themselves more in the market, so they perform better.
They're better stuff.
Not because I mean they're doing the same strategies, but they study more and they don't
control
get
their emotions when they stick to the system.
they don't get out of my parameters. They're not like, yeah, but professor said this and maybe I can. No, they just stick to the strategy, so they don't invent anything, right? So I want to make sure that women understand that when you understand money, it's not just financial freedom. You have choice. You have choice to go out of a situation from a bad boss or bad.
I want to wrap this up, but I've really enjoyed myself.
It's fascinating.
It's been amazing. We'd love to have you back.
Sure.
If somebody wants to reach out to you,
Yes.
can you tell us the financial commitments on your courses and how they can reach out to you? I like to learn. When we met, he was like, "Can I give my money to someone? They can do the work." But now, the way you're saying it, I want to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
So, how do we join? How much is the cost? And how do people reach out?
They can reach out in any of my social media, either on LinkedIn, if I don't know if there is my name here.
We will put that
it's
all down.
Prof. Silvia Vianello. Okay, so either on LinkedIn or Instagram.
So
and
what
then,
happens? I'm interested. I am interested. What's going to happen now?
I usually, when someone has zero experience in trading, I usually start with the squeeze strategy, because it's the easiest one for people without any knowledge to start. It's you use option, you use ETF. It's something like people feel more confident, and my students really love that strategy.
And that could be daily squeeze.
You can do daily, you can do weekly, you can do monthly, you can do yearly. So it's very flexible.
So do I get like a bunch of PDFs?
Okay, yes and no. So minimum budget is $10,000 with last makes little
for trading.
Minimum budget. Minimum.
For trading. And the course?
The course, it depends on the course. This course, for example, the squeeze is $900 approximately.
That's it.
That depends on depends on
and
the moment if you do
coaching, ongoing.
Okay, we have like around 30 videos, okay, tutorial. Okay. So I explain to you, open this, do this, follow this, my parameters. So you copy what you learn the way I'm doing. So first you learn the theory, the theory and how the strategy works. Then you learn the practical parts, and then you learn the software, and then you learn the interactive.
How many hours is that?
15 hours more or less, because we also have Q&A session. Okay. So I've already replied to a lot of questions. So you also have
live session.
Yeah, live session. Yeah. So and then we have a lot of PDF, right, guided to help you in case you wanna learn more. So that
this is the squeeze. How expensive does it get, the course?
So the more
or the
expensive
investment, let's say.
No, the investment depending on the strategy, because commodities, for example, is 5,000. because commodities you can do spread trading with commodities, so you can do with a little less budget. That the more
investment in the course?
better. More or less the same, but the most expensive one is 5,000 euros because
Finished, or 5,000 a year.
5,000 for the entire for 1 year of
That's incredible.
content. Yeah, and in that case you can do the daily, and in the daily our goal is 1,000 per day. So even if maybe sometimes I think, well,
A week has got your investment back.
well, I mean, it depends on the market condition, depends on a lot of things, but again, people need to learn and need to learn how to take advantage of situation instead of get rid of fear and let's get into the winner basket. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy what I'm doing. People need to study, and it's difficult at the beginning because you need to learn the glossary, you need to learn all the the parameters. Is not easy. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it, right? But whenever I have the commitment of the person, then when during the day, you saw me the other day. During the day is not that difficult after you have learned. Okay, so to get to that point, you need to study. You need to study and be ready. Because
Do you trade when the markets are closed, or you only do 5 days a week?
you can trade future 23 hours per day, okay, but it's closed on the weekend. So during the day, you can
23
trade
hours
for 23 hours.
So weekends you're free.
During the weekend, it opens late night here in UAE, but it depends also on the time zone where the person is, right?
Stock market.
Yeah, I have people from Australia. I have people. I mean, from New York, they are in the same time zone, right? Or in America, or in South America. In Europe, they are similar to us, with just 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on the moment of the year. So,
Professor, thank you.
It's been amazing.
Really
it's been
amazing.
a massive eye opener because I've not jumped in at the level that you just shared. And what you've shared to me is a lot of points where I can go, actually, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Actually, I do keep an eye out on this stuff a lot more. I didn't know how to capitalize on it the way that you've just shared. So it's been amazing.
And you're going to new students.
Definitely.
Thank you.
well, I have 2 new mentors for a lot of other
Thank
stuff.
you so much.
Thank you very
It's
much.
been an honor having you here, and we'll do this again soon, all right?
Thank you. Sure.
This is it for us for summer, but we're going to hit it fast. Unless you want to use the office.
We'll have a chat about it. That'd be interesting.
To keep it going.
Yeah.
Love you, bro.
You too.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for inviting
Thank
me.
you.
Gladiators, we'll see you till next time.